If you ever needed proof that Elizabethan politics could veer straight into the ridiculous, look no further than the moment a man seriously proposed blowing up the Queen's bed while she slept. And not just any plotter. This one happened to have a mother who slept in that same room right next to Elizabeth every single night. When assassination theory meets family drama, this is what you get. Settle in, my friend, grab a beverage, get cozy, and let's discuss maybe one of the most harebrained plots ever. Hey friend, welcome back to the YouTube channel for the Renaissance English History Podcast. I am your host, Heather. I've been podcasting on Tudor England since 2009 with my show, which makes it the original Tudor History Podcast. I am, as always, delighted that you are here with me today to talk about this most ridiculous plot to blow up Elizabeth. Was it more than that, though? Was it actually intelligence gathering? Let's dig in. The would-be conspirator in question was William Stafford. He came from a family stacked with Plantagenet bloodline. His grandmother was Ursula Pole, daughter of Margaret Pole and great-granddaughter of George, Duke of Clarence, the one who was famously drowned in Malmsey wine. William Stafford had grown up partly on the continent because his Protestant parents fled England during Mary I's reign. They lived in Geneva and Basel and mixed with heavy hitters like John Calvin and John Knox. By the time the family returned to England under Elizabeth, William was well-educated, well-connected, and very aware of how to live in court circles. His mother was even more deeply embedded in the Tudor world. Lady Dorothy Stafford was one of the women who was closest to Elizabeth. The formal title Mistress of the Robes did not yet exist, but that is essentially what she did. She oversaw clothing, jewelry, and the daily details of Elizabeth's private life. She slept in or near the Queen's bedchamber, a sign of trust that only a handful of women ever achieved. Dorothy brought her own intense family history into the room. Her grandmother had been Margaret Pole, who had been, of course, executed without trial in 1541, which gave Dorothy a link through both Yorkist and Beaufort lines. The court was a place where bloodlines mattered, of course, and hers had once been dangerous enough to draw Henry VIII's suspicion. This is what made William Stafford's next move even stranger. In 1586, he went to Paris to stay with his older brother Edward, who was England's ambassador there. While in the city, William met with Léonard d'Étampes, the secretary to the French ambassador Chateauneuf. According to d'Étampes, William arrived with an idea that stood out even in an age thick with assassination broadsides. William suggested that the French should help him assassinate Elizabeth by placing gunpowder beneath her bed, an early gunpowder plot. A trail could be laid to a nearby doorway and ignited at just the right moment. One spark and the Queen would be gone. d'Étampes brought the scheme to Chateauneuf, who agreed to hear more. At which point someone finally remembered that there was a practical problem with this. Elizabeth was terrified of darkness and refused to sleep alone. One of her ladies always stayed with her, and that lady was often Dorothy Stafford. Once the French pointed out that Dorothy Stafford would almost certainly be blown up along with the Queen, William shifted the plan without much hesitation. If gunpowder created too much collateral damage, well, then maybe stabbing might be cleaner. Or maybe even poisoning. There was even a suggestion about using a poisoned saddle or gown. None of these options reassured the French, who still could not decide whether William was reckless, opportunistic, or deliberately trying to lure them into something that would rebound on their ambassador. Before any version of the plan could actually get underway, William Stafford reported the entire thing to Francis Walsingham. And this is the moment where the plot takes a sharp turn from bungled assassination attempt to classic Elizabethan intelligence maneuver. Walsingham had a habit of using men like Stafford to provoke treasonous talk so that he could watch and see who took the bait. William's brother's servant Michael Moody, was already known to Walsingham and may have been the one who encouraged the idea in the first place. With Stafford feeding information directly to the spymaster, the French involvement could be documented step by step, just like a New Kids on the Block song. Step by step, ooh baby. Anyway, I digress. The reaction inside England was immediate. William Stafford was arrested and taken to the Tower. D'Etappe was seized as well, and Ambassador Chateauneuf was interrogated and struggled to explain why he had not reported the plot just as soon as he heard it. He was placed under house arrest for months, which was unusually convenient for Walsingham. While Chateauneuf was confined, he couldn't get anywhere near Mary Queen of Scots, who was in the final stages of being drawn into the Babington entrapment. Ooh, the plot thickens. Chateauneuf could also not protest when Mary was executed. The Queen's Guard was increased, Elizabeth's anxiety escalated, and the Privy Council had exactly the vibe shift that Walsingham needed. It's difficult to imagine a real assassination plot ending with the supposed conspirator being set free, but that is what happened. William Stafford was released in the summer of 1588 with 0 charges. He stepped out of the Tower and he vanished into a normal, quiet life. In 1593, he married Anne Grimes, settled in Norfolk, and had 2 children. His son became a writer and a pamphleteer, but William himself stayed far away from anything that looked like intrigue. He died in 1612. No one recorded where he was buried or even exactly where he was living at the time. For a man who once introduced the idea of blowing up Elizabeth I's bed, his final years look very, very peaceful. What remains is the plot itself, which feels less like a real assassination attempt and more like a staged opportunity that just happened to serve Walsingham's purposes. It stirred fear at court, it trapped the French ambassador at a very important moment, and it heightened Elizabeth's sense of danger just as decisions about Mary Queen of Scots were reaching their peak. And threaded through the whole thing was this image, this very strange image, of a son describing an explosion that would have taken out not only his queen, but the mother who was sleeping at her side. So we'll leave it there for now. What do you think? Do you think it was just staged? It was probably just staged. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the story. If you did, go ahead and press that like button wherever you're listening to this. You know what it does. It feeds that algorithm and helps to get our content to even more people. And I hope I earned your subscription to my channel if I don't already have it. I put out content like this on the regular. But you wouldn't want to miss that now, would you? If you want to keep watching videos on Tudor plots, here's one on a plot against Henry VII in York, or here's a video that YouTube thinks you'll like. Remember, my friend, you are deeply loved. I am so glad that I share the planet with you. You make the planet a better place, and I'm very grateful that we got to spend this time together talking about harebrained plots or intelligence schemes. I'll be back very soon. In the meantime, don't forget to drink your water.